GHB TV. Ah, ah. On a Wednesday night, man. Pull up. Stop bullshitting. I know y'all ain't think I was coming through this late. Yeah, I mean, but I appreciate the love and support. Appreciate the people. I was thinking all day. Damn, I want to take my foot off the Norman's neck for a second. I might have to put my foot back on their neck, but I want to take my foot off of their neck for a second. Two sizzle. What's up, Casa? Miss Rashonda in the building. What's popping? I was thinking, but I'm thinking though. I'm thinking. I mean, yeah, definitely Bill's Mafia. You know what it is. Bang, what up, cousin? Hey, I was thinking all day though. I'm just thinking. I need something to talk about, to steer the attention, to turn the wheel. I think we've been focused on you know, the Brian Norman Devin Haney fight a little too much. I understand it's a hot topic. I get it. I get it. Damn, son. Bleeding and shit. Um, Somebody give me a towel. But no, I was thinking about Abdullah Mason as a fighter, as a human being. I met him, but I haven't got to really sit down, pick his brain. I haven't really got to had the opportunity to sit down and really, talk to him and feel his vibe out. But from his actions, from the things I'm seeing, as far as a fighter, as far as a boxer, he really has the qualities to be the next big thing because it's not so much the age, even though the age plays a major part. The age plays a major part because, like I said, if a lot of us think back, to 21 years old, we wasn't nowhere near, you know. And it's not the success part. I'm just talking about how he's able to. Somebody wrote it, but the maturity, right? The maturity level, um, it's not just the maturity level. He's somewhat advanced too. Abdullah Mason is somewhat advanced, not just with boxing. I'm talking about just as a soul, as a person. And he's not looking to impress people, even though I think he partially loves performing for people. I think he loves being a fighter, and I think he loves putting on a show. But but I don't know, man. The vibe I get, he give me a really really old school vibe, man. And the only thing that's really flashy about him is probably his outfits on fight night. It's probably the most flashy part about the kid. He just a good kid. He a good kid, but he a hell of a fighter. And the reason I said he might be the face of boxing within the next 3 years is because I'm gonna say one, the age of what he's doing. And some people might be saying, "Damn, GU is that impressed." It wasn't that. I'm thinking about me at 21 years old. It's no way I would have been able to handle being the champ of the world at 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? It's no way. Yeah, somebody get him out of here. He tripping. I don't know what he was talking about. Um, it's no way I would have been able to handle that though. Being champ of the world, the pressure and everything else at 21 years old. To be as reserved that he as he is at 21 is amazing in itself. But his qualities as a fighter, not inside the ring, outside the ring. The whole thing about, you know what I mean, him saying, I don't need any brothers. I got enough brothers. That means he's not looking to be friends with these guys in boxing. If you a weight class over or a weight class under, you are a op. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. And then the way he approached that fight with Sam Noakes, right? The way he went about the fight with Sam Noakes, bro. A lot of young guys would have quit. A lot of young guys would have lost their cool. A lot of young guys just wouldn't have known what to do with a fight like that. He was in there with a solid fighter. He was in there with a solid fighter that a lot of other fighters would have overlooked. He understood that he had to bite down and get the victory. I really believe that. He understood it. If he didn't bite down on his mouthpiece, Sam Noakes was taking that from up under him. He just, hey, Bang, I agree, man. He just a great kid, man. He a great kid, and he got a lion's heart, a bag of skills, and of course, it's things he could work on. Everybody got shit they need to work on. I'm talking about everyday life. You know what I mean? But it's like it's just his mannerisms as a fighter, bro. And at first I was kind of thinking like everybody else. I was like, yo, that fight was like a little too much for the kid. Like that was a little heavy. You know what I mean? But he came out on top. But he took some punishment and he gave some punishment. But I'm thinking about it and I'm like, you know what though? If you win a title at 21 years old, you got like another 10 years to really go crazy. So I'm thinking within like the next 3, he'll be like more than a household name. You know what I mean? Within the next 3 years, if everything go right. You know what I mean? I don't know, bro. I feel like Abdullah Mason. Of course there's other fighters. Of course there's Boots Ennis. Of course there's Abdullah Mason. Devin Haney. David Benavidez. Bam Rodriguez. And I'm pretty sure there's many more, but that's the five I could think of that I feel like they really don't give a fuck. And I mean in a good way. I mean what I mean is they not really here to try to be friends with anybody. They're not really here to try to be, to be liked by everybody. They here to hurt shit, man. And Dev, I'm not gonna say it's 100% here to hurt shit, but Dev is here to win. Dev trying to win, bro. And when you look at his situation, you know what I mean, it's not your normal situation. A lot of what he done is, unheard of because they don't really let guys like Bill Haney in boxing. They don't really, you know what I mean? A lot if you think about the history of boxing, they don't really let guys get in like that. And if you know, then you know. But Bill with his son, they had stamps, but they didn't really have the help. Meaning he wasn't signed to like Top Rank. He wasn't signed to Golden Boy. He wasn't signed to PBC. He wasn't really when Dev came out, Dev was just out. Everything Bill was just making sure everything was just being laid out. Not in a way where, it was easy and Dev didn't have nothing to worry about. Not like that. But but Bill made the proper moves and he put the proper ingredients in the pot for there to be a Devin Haney. And I think that's why out of those list of guys that I named, he like the most cautious. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have things, I don't want to say given to him because he got the proper road where he had the proper fights for him to build who he is. and he done some great things with it. And I ain't saying that, but I'm just saying he didn't have that. He just didn't have that type of backing. His father was his backing. You know what I mean? Bill really squoze his way into boxing. And he's respected as like, as like a promoter. Even though Bill is not a promoter, he is somewhat a promoter because he promoted Devin Haney. But Abdullah Mason is like a kid. He come from a boxing family. Of course, he had the top rank stamp, but he mean what he say. And I'm not saying a lot of other guys don't mean what they say, but what I am saying is it's a lot of guys who they picking and choosing. I feel like Abdullah Mason is like, whatever y'all got, I'm taking it. Carbon 12 said, Bill is what Brian Norman Sr. wanted to be, being honest. I believe that. Because Bill laid the blueprint. He did lay the blueprint. But if you smart, then you got to know, like, everybody's career is not going to go the same. And I think, well connected. Nook, what up? I think part of the jealousy for Bill is because, guys want to be respected, they want to be known, and they want to be looked at like a Bill Haney. Bill Haney has become like a part of boxing. You know what I mean? Gee, do you feel we in a golden era of boxing? No, I do not feel that way. I appreciate the donation, Yannick. So, and I'm gonna speak on that. And that's kind of where I'm going. So I appreciate you asking me that. Hawk Willis, appreciate the love, bro. I'm glad you asked me that because that's kind of where I'm going with this. Abdullah Mason is just like, I'm here to do one thing. I'm here to win, but I'm here to beat you dudes up, and I'm not trying to be really best friends with nobody. I ain't trying to be cool with y'all, and I'm not trying to be a part of no type of squad or clique or not. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I say that, because I know some people gonna see this and they gonna catch feelings. But take your feelings out of what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, bro, at the end of the day, this is a one-on-one sport. And you got to get what you can get out of it and then get out of it. You know what I'm saying? This is not some shit that you're going to be doing for 50 years. Your lifeline could get cut short in boxing very quickly. And we don't have time for all the pussyfooting. But it is some guys out here, they just, they saying they won't do certain things. And I get it. And that's fine. Your way is your way. But what I'm saying is, the reason I'm giving Abdullah 3 years and he'll possibly be the face of boxing, and I'm saying possibly, I'm not saying he will be, I'm saying possibly though, is because one, Abdullah Mason, like I said, is willing to fight anybody. Two, based off that last fight, guys think they see a lot of flaws and they think they'll be able to capitalize. Therefore, he will get the fights. The reason I'm bringing that up is because I believe, you said he 21, chill, G. G, chill. He 21, G, chill. No. But you got to listen to what I'm saying. Don't go too far. In 3 years, he'll be 24. Listen to what I'm saying. I believe Dev had a title at 23. He won the title at what, 23, 24? Undisputed at 24. So come on, what are we talking about? Let me give my spill, because I feel like when I start reading comments and I try to react to them, my brain get a little fucked around. I lose track. I don't want to lose track of what I'm saying. But like I was saying, with the last fight with Noakes, I believe a lot of fighters saying I see flaws in his game. But look, if he won a title last week at 21 years old, why wouldn't he be the face of boxing at 24? And I'm just giving a breakdown. I'm not saying he will be. I'm saying I think he has it. Here's why. Here's why I'm saying this. If you think about Boots' career, right? If we really pay attention to what's going on with Boots, nobody want to fight Boots. Let's be real. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that because Boots from Philly and I'm trying to hype up Boots' situation. I'm saying if you really pay attention to Boots, if you really, really pay attention to what's going on with Boots, nobody want to fight Boots. So therefore, we're not gonna get the kind of fights we want from Boots, and it's not his fault because we can't make these guys get in the ring, right? Um, if you look at like a Richardson Hitchens, he's clearly talking around Gary Antoine Russell, and I don't understand why because he says he's looking for a big fight. He's looking for big fights, but that's a big fight. If you put Gary Antoine Russell and Africa in the ring, automatic big fight. Styles, the history, you know what I mean, and just what they both bring to the table. You know what I mean? If you look at Bam, hell of a fighter, but he's not going to get his full credit because the weight class he at. He's a junior bantamweight. It's 115 pounds. I don't think I even know a grown man that weigh 115 pounds. I'm just trying to be fair. If you look at Benavidez is moving along quickly. He had 3 fights at light heavyweight, and he already talking about going to cruiserweight and fighting Zerto Ramirez. What I'm trying to say is, let's say Benavidez get all the fights he want, which is his father told me that the Zerto Ramirez fight, the Jao Opataya fight, and then maybe go to heavyweight. But let's say he don't go to heavyweight. Let's just say he go to cruiserweight and he clear out cruiserweight. Then who is there going to be left for him to fight? So we're not going to be seeing much of David Benavidez. I think David Benavidez should stay at 75, but he must feel like his body is growing and he might have already outgrown light heavyweight division. I mean, there's fights there. But I feel like his career speed up if he go up to cruiserweight and then run through cruiserweight. I'm not saying it'll be easy, but I'm just saying if he went up to cruiserweight and ran through cruiserweight, then what would be left for David Benavidez, right? So that's Boots. I feel like nobody want to fight Boots. I'm being honest. I feel like Boots won't get a good fight, a really legacy type fight, big fight until he go to like the 160. You know what I mean? That's what I'm seeing. 54, 47 definitely ain't want no trouble with Boots, and 54 look like they don't want no trouble with Boots, right? If you look at Bam, like I said, is a small weight class. If you look at Benavidez is running through shit so crazy, he might just retire. And I'm not saying I hope he do. Dev is doing some great things. Dev, has been undisputed at 35, champion at 40, and now is champion at 47. So I can't get mad at Dev, and I think Dev probably be, I think Dev would probably be like in second place if you put the two together, meaning Abdullah and Dev, right? Dev might be in second place, runner up for like the face of boxing or some type shit. And this is just my imagination. I'm not saying these things are 100% true. But when you think about Abdullah Mason becoming champ at 135, and if you look at his body frame and you look at who he is in the ring, he's clearly going to go to 40. He's clearly going to go to 47. And I also believe he'll be a 54 pounder. With all that being said, I feel like Abdullah Mason will be the guy because he'll get all the fights or all the type of fights that we want to see. And if you look at Abdullah Mason's trajectory, meaning, where he's going and where he is right now, he has a lot of work in front of him. There's a lot of guys all right, if you think about, and I'm just I don't want people to think I'm saying this is certain. This is 100%. I just want people to listen to me. Abdullah Mason, like I said, based off of that last fight, a lot of people are going to look at him and like, you know what? I could get him. I could get him. Because if Sam Noakes could hit him with some shit, I could hit him with some shit. That leaves the door open for guys to come in and him to be able to, all right, I'll fight you next. All right, I'm gonna fight you, then I'm gonna go up and wait, then I'm gonna fight you. You know what I'm saying? And with him being 21 and already becoming champ right now, the division is hot. 140 is hot. 147 is hot, and 154 is hot. And I'm not saying everybody that's there right now is going to be there when he get there, but I'm saying it's a lot of names that's ahead of Abdullah Mason. But what he just did last week put him in the talks. So what that means is he has room to still grow, but he also has a lot of names ahead of him that if he was to beat those guys, a lot of those fights would be looked at as like legacy fights. You know what I'm saying? Even if you think about Tio at 140, Shakur at 135, 140, Keyshawn at 140. Let me see. Africa said he gonna go up to 47 soon, basically. You know what I'm saying? He said he could still make 40, he still feel good, but I could see Africa going to 47 probably after this next fight. You got let me see. It's a bunch of guys, man. It's a bunch of guys. And you even still got guys like, and this is no disrespect, but you still got guys like Brian Norman, which would be looked at as a good fight. You got guys like Barrios. You got guys like let me see, Tiger Johnson. Like there's a lot of guys ahead of him, or either or they're either in a heavier weight class where when he go up, he'll already had a name. So it's like he won't have a problem getting those fights. It's just something to look out for. I'm not saying that it's a for sure thing. I'm not saying it's a for sure thing. I'm not saying it's 100% certain. I'm just saying if you really watch Abdullah Mason and what he got going on, and you look at the age, and you look at the fact that he's not afraid, and you look at the fact that he don't care, I mean, I think he could possibly be the guy. Carbon 12, appreciate the donation, gang. He says, hold on. How come I can't? He says, big salute for giving me my first boxing interview and for linking with me in ATL. Appreciate you, Jay, for bridging the history of the past for the youth of today. Mad love and respect on your journey. Hey, Carbon 12, you know what it is, gang. I appreciate you, bro. Nothing but love, gang. This is on point because Crawford dug. But all right, but look, even if you bring Crawford, look how Crawford went from 35, 40, 47, 54, 68. And then now, they talk about maybe like a rematch or something like that. But what I'm saying is Abdullah, if the difference between Crawford and Abdullah, we didn't know about Crawford when Crawford was 21. We knew about him. Like those who know, they know, but Crawford wasn't fighting for a title at 21. Not that I believe. You know what I'm saying? Cardo TV, man, set it up. I'll come down there and beat you up. Hey, no, 2 cents. Let him rock. Let him out the gates. You know what I'm saying? If Boots got the fight, he face a boxing. Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think the way shit is looking for Boots, I don't think Boots gonna get that legacy fight until 60. Because 54, I can't tell, man. 54, I can't tell, bro. I'm not seeing these guys trying to really get in the ring with Boots. I'm peeping how the movement, I'm peeping how the movement is looking, and it's not looking too good at 54 neither. And that's not Boots' fault. These guys just don't want to fight. What's your thoughts on Matias' name being cleared? He got cleared, so I want to know where the first test came from then. If he got cleared off the second test, that means he got to take one more test and get cleared off of that one. I don't know. If I was wrong, I'm going to say I'm sorry to Subriel Matias. But what that means is he took two tests, one of them popped hot, the other one didn't. So it's like, all right, you know what I mean? Who legacy for him at 60? It's not so much that is somebody there right now, but I think what happens with Boots is whoever was supposed to be that guy at 54, he'll get that fight at 60. Like whoever was supposed to be a big fight for him at 54, he'll get that fight at 60. I'm hurt, G. I fell off my e-bike going 40 miles per hour doing DoorDash. I sprained my elbow real bad. No, you gotta be careful, bro, when you on them e-bikes, bro. I heard them e-bikes crafty. I heard they got a mind of their own. Lillian Rodriguez. Yeah, good call, G. Shit writes itself. Yeah, let the little critter live, man. We ain't gonna get mad at him. I just want him to set up that big event down there so I could just come down there and punch on him a little bit. You know what I mean? We can have some fun. Then we can go have a couple beers. You know what I mean? We can tell everybody Greg Hackett coming to town, man. We come up with a date, you know what I'm saying? And we do it right. And we do it right. You know what I'm saying? I'll pull up to Texas and we'll get it popping, man. And you know who gonna work my corner. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no need to even ask. But nah, but listen, bro. Abdullah Mason, I feel like Abdullah Mason is everything's gonna fall in his hands. All he gotta do though, he just gotta be ready. He just gotta be ready. He just gotta be prepared. When you gonna come to Miami? I don't know, man. Miami's kind of crazy. I'm kind of weirded out by Florida. I ain't gonna lie to you. Let's talk about that fee though. 2 cents. You feel me? 2 cents. I hope he didn't think we was coming to town just to play around. They said his oxygen levels came out at 0.85. Anything above zero point 0.1 is illegal. So was he high or not? You know what I mean? So he said, G, you still got that I love educated women hat? Yeah, I got that hat. It's over there on the shelf. Yeah, that's one of my favorite hats. Matter of fact, no, it's upstairs in the bathroom. I got it hanging on the back of the door. Um, but it's like if you pay attention like to his age and you pay attention to what he's just done last week, he fought a hell of a fight in Sam Noakes with Sam Noakes. He got the victory. And I feel like that fight got some fighters licking their chops like, oh, I could take him. You know what I mean? Because of what Sam Noakes was able to do. And they might see themselves as a better fighter than Sam Noakes when really styles make fights. And then I'm starting to feel like not just styles, but location makes fights too. You know what I mean? These dudes was on the other side of the world. Abdullah Mason went out there and fought his heart out. And at first I was saying to myself, like, whoa, he got to slow down. I mean, he got to stay away from certain guys and this and that. But then when I thought about it, I said, you know what? There was a lot of pressure on that young man. It was a lot of pressure on that young man, him fighting over there, him only being 21 years old, him going up against an undefeated fighter. He fighting a sturdy fighter. You know what I mean? He went in there with a guy that was a turkey, like, type of guy that you hit him one time and he's done. Like, no, he had a guy in front of him that was hungry, that was really trying to win. You know what I mean? But that was his first type of fight like that. You know what I mean? And all those other fights we seen from Abdullah Mason, he clearly had the advantages. And this fight was like, it wasn't even, but I mean, Noakes was a lot better than, than the guys we've been seeing Abdullah Mason getting in the ring with. You know what I mean? So I'm saying, damn, I dropped my shit on the floor. Fuck. I'm saying this. I'm saying if you think about Abdullah Mason, who he is and how he carries on about, how he carries on with boxing, like like I said, how he's just like, I don't give a fuck who it is. You know what I mean? We can get it popping. That attitude and getting better, I feel like Abdullah Mason, and because I'm not even getting into all the marketable talk. The motherfucker still look like a kid. If you be real, Abdullah Mason, he 21, and he is a kid, because 21 is young. But if you look at him, Abdullah Mason look like he about 16 years old. He don't even look that old. So then he got a tall, slender build. Not super tall, but he probably 5'9", 5'10". You know what I mean? With the slim build. He probably can get a fucking modeling deal or some shit. I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box, because people always want to talk about marketing and how fighters should market themselves. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll get a lot of attention because of how he look, because he still look like a juvenile. You know what I mean? If you, I think you can have ostery in your system. It just can't be past a certain limit. Anything past point one is illegal. Anything below that is fine. Well, what's below point one? You know what I mean? You gotta ask yourself that. Below point one is nothing. So the fact that that's dangerous, man. I don't even want to talk about that. No disrespect. Appreciate the love and support. Appreciate the donation, bro. The Nobody 92. Appreciate you, gang. Alpha Wolf says Boots versus Murder says Ali. What you think? Hey, bro, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna just say this. You see how Boots be doing them Russians and shit, right? I'm gonna just say that. Gee, what are we going? What you mean? I'm just giving my views on Abdullah Mason and how I think I I think he might be the guy that might be the face of boxing within the next 3 to 5 years, because I feel like he he has he has a nice list of guys in front of him. He has a nice list of guys in front of him that could turn his name, into a superstar. Because if all right, let's look at Boots. When Boots was at 47, there was a such thing as Bud Crawford and Earl Spence. But ever since they fought, shit ain't been right, right? You know what I mean? Boots definitely not getting those fights, right? So those was the guys he was supposed to, you know what I mean, be able to get to boost who he is, to boost his catalog. Now look, there was other guys. There was Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman basically just don't want the fight. There was Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. Sean Porter retired after Bud. Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia and Boots, I don't think will ever fight anyway. It was guys like Ugas. It was different guys at the weight class that Boots could have fought, that could have built his catalog, but then they kind of just fell out after all these tough fights. Now Boots go to 54, he fight Usman Lima, and it's like nobody want to fight. I'm saying that because Virgil and Boots was supposed to fight at 47. They both get to 54. Virgil got there first. Virgil planted his flag, but ever since Boots got there, they've been only talking about fighting Boots. It's not really a thing that's looking like it's going to happen, because after Virgil last fight, Boots get in the ring. What we doing? Virgil response was, I mean, it would be a great fight to make, but my dream fight would be Earl Spence. It's clear he don't want to fight Boots. I don't know. After threatening to call the police on me, G, I feel like you're trying to set me up like Southpaw tried to do you. He told me he gonna jump you in the DMs. But how am I gonna set you up in your city? Come on, gang. Cardo TV, man. Listen, man. I don't got no ill feelings for you, bro. You ain't never did nothing to me. All you do, you come up here and you talk your shit, and that's fine. But listen, if you want to do it right, set up the event. You know what you got to take care of. I'm pulling up. You know what I mean? I need half of the gate. Give me half of the gate, and I'm gonna have my guy in there clicking, counting people. So I'm gonna know how many people paid, and all of that. You know what I mean? And I'm there. Give me half of the gate, and I'm there. You know what I'm saying? You got Greg Hackett, and you can set up the rounds however you want to set them up. You can make them 1 minute rounds. You can make them 2 minute rounds. You can make them 3 minute rounds. You can make them 5 minute rounds. Fuck it. You could count. You could cut the clock off. We could do it like that. I don't give a fuck. Let's get it. Boots need to part ways with Eddie Hearn ASAP for real. But is it really Eddie Hearn's fault? Cause let's say this: if Boots was with PBC, could we still make those fighters fighting? You know what I'm saying? Will we be able to really make those guys? Yeah, I don't even know why he said. Matter of fact, I know why he said that because I was bitten, but anybody that know me know I ain't. You know what I mean? I don't play like that. Not what I'm gonna call the cops for. Stop playing, man. Why would I call the cops because I punched on you? That don't make sense. That's basically like I might as well just put the handcuffs on myself. I don't know how you feel like I'm trying to jump him, but I'm just saying, Benavidez again. David Benavidez, fast track. David Benavidez might be out of the game in 4 more fights because he's looking to do some great things within the next 2 fights. Bam Rodriguez, I feel like is never gonna get his just due because he's a small guy. And that's no disrespect to him because he's a hell of a fighter. He's a great fighter. Devin Haney, people gonna always have that love-hate relationship with Devin Haney because of his father and because he's not a big puncher. But he could win you over, you know what I mean, with some performances if he get the right performances. But Abdullah Mason, on the other hand, is the kind of guy you would be dead wrong for acting like you hate Abdullah Mason. Because Abdullah Mason, he only talk when he asks questions, and when he asks questions, he only trying to be honest. You know what I mean about how he feel. He don't get disrespectful with people. You know what I mean. He's not a disrespectful individual, but as you can see, he's a motherfucking dog. He gonna get in there and do his part. I just feel like I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But like you just all right. So look, let's look at that comment, JRB. You said not with that defense, right? But again, imagine yourself, 21 years old in Saudi Arabia, fighting for a world title. I'm not saying I don't think Boots could be the next face of boxing. But what I'm saying is, if you look at Boots and you look at how the fighters in the division are treating him, meaning 54 now, they don't really want to fight him. So what I'm trying to say is, how could you become the face if you don't have the fights up under your belt? Not fights like you don't have no fights, but I'm talking about like if you're not getting the fights that the people want to see, and you ain't handling business like you want it. I mean, like we know you can do. Then it's almost like they try. Like I feel like boxing on some real shit. I feel like the 154-pound division is trying to get Boots to move up again. You know what I'm saying? I feel like 54 is trying to get Boots to move up again to 60. Now, but if you look at Abdullah, there's a lot of guys he could fight. You got Shakur, you got Keyshawn, you got Tank, you got Africa, you got Devin Haney, you got Edwin De Los Santos. I mean, you just got it's just a name of guys. It's a bunch of guys he could fight. It's a bunch of guys that Abdullah Mason could fight. I mentioned Tiger Johnson. I mentioned Brian Norman Jr. I mentioned Barrios. I mean, it's just a lot of fights. I mentioned Devin Haney. I mean, Ryan Garcia. It's a lot of fights he can have. Now, does he beat all of them? I don't know. I can't say that. That's a hell of a gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? I can't say he'll beat them all, but what I'm saying is, if you look at his age, look at what he's been able to do so far, and him having so much room ahead of him, so much time ahead of him, ain't no telling what he could do. And like I said, he's still growing. So I mean, we're gonna see him at 40 soon. We're gonna see him at 40 soon. Crawford ducking ruined his chance to be the face, right, G? You talking about Boots, but I don't know if that would be considered ducking only because Crawford like everybody else, right? When they win a big fight, they thinking, all right, every fight after that is supposed to be a mega fight. Like once you get in that mega fight, guys feel like you're supposed to be in mega fights from here on out. The problem is we not getting the mega fights. So you got guys who want to get treated like the number one guy in the game, but really you just was the number one guy that night. You handle business that night, and it's like, all right, what are you gonna do to attract people? I feel like Abdullah Mason is just a likable guy. He's just one of those guys you gotta respect and like because of what he do in the ring. Because outside the ring, he not getting in trouble. We not reading crazy articles about him. You know what I'm saying? It's not a whole bunch of wild shit going on around him. He just a fighter, but he a good kid. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if he got any talents, like if he know how to do magic or some shit. Like we don't know none of that, but we do know when you say Abdullah Mason, oh, that little motherfucker gonna fight, and he a big kid, he strong, he this, he that. So all I'm saying is, if you look at the list of names ahead of Abdullah Mason, he might end up with one of the best resumes. Not ever, but I'm just saying he might end up with one of the best resumes. Cause it's a lot of work ahead of him. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. You said, career-wise, Bud is over Boots. Career-wise. Style-wise, inside the ring, hey, man, I'm just calling a great fight. But you know boxing, G, they love now, but they gonna hate him at one point. That's true. You know what I'm saying? Charles Conwell is a great fight for Boots. A good fight for Boots. It is. That is a good fight. Um, but I'm just saying, career wise, Bud has done a lot. What people keep forgetting about Bud is, bro, he's 39 years old, 38, 39 years old. He's not getting no younger. You're not getting no younger. You know what I'm saying? I used to want to see Bud and Boots, but it looked like it's not going to happen, so I stopped talking about it. You know what I'm saying? I stopped talking about it because what's the point of talking about it if they're not going to fight? Listen to what I'm saying. Career-wise, Bud is over Boots. But inside the ring that night, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. $2. Appreciate you, gang. Appreciate that Cash App, too. Hit me in my head with 600. Appreciate the love, support. You ain't have to do that. I feel like Boots style, his mentality, and all of that is similar. Not the style so much similar to Bud, but I'm saying they both do freak. They both could do some freak shit in there. They both quick. They both powerful. They both sharp. I think it will be like looking in the mirror for Bud Crawford. Not saying it'll be all the trouble in the world for him, but I'm saying it's definitely gonna be some trouble. And the same will go for Boots. The thing is, Boots' energy level, him being a younger man, I just think if they fought each other, he'll be able to put out more. Now, will it work? I don't know. I don't know. I would have to see it. But I stopped talking about it because I didn't see where they would end up fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Captain Ryan, appreciate the love and support. I'm just being real. People think I be being biased when it come to Boots. It's not that, bro. It's bro, you gotta understand, bro. I've been watching that bull since he was about 11, 12 years old, bro. I've been watching him, bro. Probably longer than that, been watching him. You know what I mean? I know I know that because I've been around boxing so long and I seen different levels of talent. I seen different levels of great. And and Bud Crawford is definitely a great fighter, but Boots got something for him. Now, will he overcome that night? I mean, I don't know. That would be up. That would be up to Boots. That would be up to Bud. But I just know that would be a great fight. But I don't think we will see it. I don't think they'll see it. For some reason, these guys are not really trying to entertain Boots. I don't know if Boots beats Jay in the back. I don't know. I would have to see it. I seen Boots beat the shit out of niggas Janabek size in the gym, but that's the gym. But I can't base it 100% off the gym. I would have to see it in the ring. No, see, this is now when you say things like that, true story, I appreciate it. I really do. But this is what I want you to think about. He said Bud IQ too much for Boots, and I rock with Boots, but Bud different. You right? But this is what I'm saying. Name me one fighter that you could compare to Boots that Bud's fought. Name me one fighter that Boots has fought that you can compare to Bud. You can't. You can't. So that's a fight we would just have to see. You know what I'm saying? That's a fight we would just have to see. You got to be honest about that. Listen to my question again. Name a fighter that Bud fought that you can compare to Boots, and name a fighter that Boots fought that you can compare to Bud. You can't. You can't. You know what I'm saying? Let's be fair. That's why you have to put those two dogs in the ring with each other. Because you can't go off of resumes. The reason you can't go off of resumes with Boots and Bud is because neither one of them been in there with a guy like the other one. You know what I'm saying? If you think I'm capping about that, put a cap in the chat. Put a cap in the chat if you think I'm capping. I'm dead serious though. If you think about boxing, if you think about resumes, there's nobody on Bud record that you can compare to Boots, and there's nobody on Boots record that you can compare to Bud. It's nobody. So the only way to understand what will happen in that fight is to see the fight. I'm being honest. And you know what's so crazy? People would be thinking I'm being biased about Boots, right? I'm so biased. But if they fought each other, I wouldn't pick. I wouldn't pick. I would just want to see it. That's my honest truth. If Bud and Boots fought, I just want to see it. See, when I was saying Dev would beat Brian Norman Jr., is because I seen enough out of Dev and I haven't seen enough out of Norman Jr. to say he could beat Dev. Why? Because I know Dev has been in the ring with better fighters than Brian Norman Jr. So that's why I picked Dev to beat Brian Norman Jr. Plus, along with a lot of other things like the level, the atmosphere. You know what I mean? All of that. All of that matters. All of that matters. All I'm saying is, if you listen to me, if you listen to what I'm trying to say, name a fighter that you can compare on Bud's record to Boots, and name a fighter on Boots' record that you can compare to Bud. There isn't one. It's not even close. Neither one of them has been in there with a fighter like the other one. So, if they was to fight each other, I'm just calling 50-50. I don't know. The more black fighters on your resume, the better. Nah, I mean. 4359, appreciate the love, gang. You didn't have to do that, but you did. Appreciate you. I'm just sitting here just talking boxing. I'm just a spirit, gang. Don't mind me. You know what I mean? I don't think that fight is gonna happen. I don't think that fight is gonna happen. So, with that being said, because I don't think that fight is gonna happen, I'm saying because the way I see things are looking at 54, we're not gonna get a real great fight for Boots until probably 160. You know what I mean? I'm just a spirit, gang. Stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? 54 look like they not really looking like they want trouble with Boots. I'm just being honest. I don't hear nobody really like calling him out and saying they want that fight. Virgil said he wanted the fight, but then he went in the back and he said, but my dream fight would be, Earl Spence. I always wanted that fight. I love that fight. Yeah, I hear you, champ, but you know what I'm saying? Is that realistic with Earl Spence almost being off for 3 years almost? You know what I mean? We got to be real. We got to be real. I like these matchups, you know what I'm saying? But we got to see the fights. So, like I said, with Abdullah Mason putting on the performance he did last week, the style that he beat and the person he beat was real, and we saw a lot of times where Abdullah Mason wasn't in the best position and got caught with some good shots throughout the whole fight. You know what I'm saying? But I think that fight is going to make him a better fighter. And on top of that, he has room to grow. When you have room to grow, you could be dangerous. You just got to know how to pick them. You know what I mean? I felt the same way about Norman. Norman had room to grow. The problem was, once his dad saw that contract from Turkey, and, he was trying to move strategically, and he thought that was the best fight, he washed all that away. All of it's down the drain now. It's not down the drain as if it's over, but now it's like when we listening to Brian Norman Sr., it's like, can we really trust you, old head? Because a lot of what you said did not happen at all. No sirree. Did not happen at all. So I'm trying to, He said, "Why Norman Sr. remind me of Schofield Pops. Only difference is his son ain't back it up." That's all I'm saying. I'm like, bro, even with that fight too, Abdullah Mason, Floyd Schofield, that'll be a great fight in the future. There's a lot of guys, bro, in the field. There's a lot of guys out here in the field for Abdullah Mason. Somebody said, and Kermel. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of names. It's a lot of guys. It's just an observation, gang. I could be wrong. I'm just a spirit, though. I'm just here, Did I ever tell y'all that story about how I killed a man for 5 minutes with a hook? And then, he woke up in the ambulance. He came back to life, rather. I'm talking about, I hit him with the hook, This wasn't in the ring. This was outside. I hit him with the hook. He went out. He died on the scene. He got him in the ambulance, and he said he woke up. You know what I mean? He said he woke up from the dead like 5 minutes in the ambulance ride. You know what I mean? I ain't never told y'all that story. Crazy. That's that was the first time I made a man change his life. The guy I hit like that and made him die, and then he woke, he came back to life in the ambulance. He became a pastor. Now he's like a famous pastor in the city. Gee, you got power? I do. Knuckle to jaw, I got power. Bare knuckle, I rip somebody's head off. In my pro career, I don't have any knockouts because I never really was in shape. I'm gonna be honest. I never really was in shape. I'm just fighting off pure skills and talent, like and heart. You know what I'm saying? And I fought a lot of big guys. Now, a lot of them not gonna be honest about it, but I put my hands on them and hurt a few of them. What's your IG account now? Name Greg Hackett 86. No, real shit. He like one of the top pastors in Philadelphia right now. Real shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Greg Hackett 86 on Instagram. I just said it. Happy holidays, man. Deal TV. What's the deal? Happy holidays, man. Everybody make sure they eat good tomorrow for sure. Salute from the Walkers. The IG live today was funny as shit. Humble pie, my brother. Salute to the Walkers. Appreciate the donation, gang. Nah, we was having fun, man, for sure. You gotta hand out slices of humble pie earlier today. Yeah, cause I was handing out pie. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have probably some sweet potato pie tomorrow. But today was about humble pie. Cardo TV is Greg Hackett 86 on Instagram. Yeah, I am still 2K25. That's because it's 2025. I'm one of them boys. I'm a cheap bastard. One of my ex-girlfriends, she called me a cheap bastard one time. I said, what do you want me to do? She said, you a cheap bastard. I said, what do you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? I you know, I figure it's 2025. Why would I get 2K26? It's still 225. So I'm still caught up. I'm just not in the future. See, y'all niggas living in the future. Y'all niggas that play 2K26 and all that, y'all living in the future. I'm living in um I'm living in actual live time. I'm a pastor that got out the streets. That's talk. That's talk is crazy. That's talk is crazy. What you mean that's talk is crazy? Yeah, I'm living in the present. My bad. I'm a little sleepy. I'm a little tired, bro. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for sure. Nah, bro, it's 25, 26 champions this year. No, I'm gonna get it though. My player be trash every year. Yeah, that shit, that you gotta really work on them. That's cause niggas be spending money on them Jones. And you gotta know how to put the build together. You gotta make sure your build's sturdy. I realized that. I ain't gonna lie, I love my center on 2K25. He bony, but he get busy. But yeah, I do gotta get 26. I do gotta get Madden too, and I want to get college football. Now when I be chilling, my son got college football. When I be chilling with my son, I play his system. I be playing college football. I got like a career joint on his joint. Y'all don't be on undisputed. Undisputed is trash. Oh shit. Who beating Jannebeck besides Bud? Shit. We about to see December 6th. Cause motherfucking one thing I know about Laura, you can't play with him. Crazy slander talk. Killed a man and turned his to the church. And turned him to the church. You said crazy slander. What you mean crazy slander? That really happened. I put him to sleep, like for real. I watched his soul leave. They put him in the ambulance, and they said he woke up like 5 minutes within the ambulance ride, like on the way to the hospital. He woke up like, hallelujah. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, some years down the line, I see him again. He a pastor, and he like one of the top pastors in Philly. I don't go to church, so I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know. But from what I understand, you know what I'm saying? He turned. So at first I kind of felt bad when I heard. I mean, when I saw the soul leave, I kind of felt bad because I thought I was about to go to jail for the rest of my life. I mean, I was a young boy, but when I heard he woke up, I was a little relieved. But when I saw that he was a successful pastor, I kind of looked at it like I did a good deed. You know what I'm saying? Rais Salim went out to Japan and put on a masterclass. When was that? When I looked at it like a good deed. When years down the line, I discovered that he became like a famous pastor. I looked at it like I was doing God's work. You know what I'm saying? I looked at it like, you know what I'm saying? I did a good deed. I turned his life around because he saw his life leave himself and he looked down upon himself and then his spirit jumped back into his body and woke up and was like, no, I'm not done. I still want to be here. You know what I'm saying? And then years down the line, to see that he's a successful pastor, I'm like, yo, I stopped feeling bad. I'm like, yo, I'm out here saving people. You touched him with holy knuckles. You know what I'm saying? He is now a pastor at a Greater Ebenezer Revival Tree. Hold up, Revival Tree of Light Institution, Double Rock, on the side of the road to Jericho Missionary Baptist Church of Zion. You feel me? I feel like I did a good deed. So God was working through your fist. That's what I'm saying. So you know what's so crazy about that? How come a nigga could get shot and then turn to God and it's cool? But if I punch on a nigga and he die and then he come back to life and he turned to God, how come I'm wrong for that? That's crazy. Yo, the way people think is crazy, bro. You gonna tell me, Greg Hackett, that I'm wrong? You gonna tell me I'm wrong for blessing a man and changing his life, but if he gets shot, it's like, look at God. Huh? What about look at Greg? Like, what about that? That's crazy. What about like, look at Greg? Like, damn, look, what would Greg do? You know what I mean? Instead of what would Jesus do, what would Greg do? You feel me? I'm just saying, how come I'm wrong? How come I'm wrong because he became a famous pastor? What the fuck? But when the motherfucker gets shot and then he changed his life, it's like, oh man, I'm so proud of that brother, man. And you know what? And you know what's so crazy? The guy that shot him, he the deacon now. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Oh, so you a prophet now? Yeah, I'm something like that. You feel me? Jesus saves and Greg. So Greg, if you line up 5 people and you sock them and you change their lives, what about it? If I go to Philly, I want to look at the old head who never made it 40 and older. What you mean? If I go to Philly, I want to look at the old head who never made it 40 and older. I'm a spirit. The one in front of the gun. You feel me? But that's crazy. The old head in the gym. What old head? We got a lot of old heads in there. I'm just saying. That's that Kendrick Lamar shit. Funny as shit, bro. But I'm just saying, if I do something like that, I'm wrong. How? What you talking about? Would you fight an MMA fighter? Bro, I'll fight anything with a heartbeat. If it got a heartbeat, I'm swinging on it. Pastors can work wonders in their community. That's what I'm saying. My boy G be calling this shit. I win big, fucking G. I win big, fuck. Hey man, just send me my 10%. I appreciate the love and support, Arthur. And I'm glad you believe in me. How does it feel in that gym? In my gym, it feel good. It was warm as shit today. What made you get into boxing? I was just fighting a lot in the streets. My mom said, yo, you gotta go to the gym or you gonna get in trouble. I was like preteen. I was like 12. My mom was like, bro, you about to be 13. You need to get in the gym. Yeah, well, I punch on a silverback? Yeah, but me and silverbacks, we had that understanding. We look at each other and he know who I am and I know who he is. So I never really had that problem with a silverback. I ain't no old retired boxer. I'm gonna stay on your ass. Hey, nah, Cardo TV, man, just shut it up, bro. And just tell everybody, tell everybody down there in Texas, Greg Hackett pulling up. And then we'll talk about all the particulars and then, we make it a big event. You know what I mean? I promise. I'll bring a little funky little outfit and all that. Make it look good for you. I'm gonna beat you the fuck up, but I'm gonna make it look good for you, bro. I know you tall and slinky and all that, but I got something for all that. You know what I mean? I gave you my IG 15 times. I said it's Greg Hackett 86. It's easy. Got my logo in there. Same logo that's on my YouTube. You feel me? Easy. It's easy, bro. G, you think Frank Martin beat Rances next week? He should. But, Rances is crafty. Let Greg lay hands on you. And if you wake up, you might get saved. That's what I'm saying. I'm doing God's work for the better. I'm out here changing lives one day at a time. I heard of this pastor that got tilapia added to Popeye's menu in a small town down south. It's only right Popeye was a seller. You heard? Hey, yo. Oh, they must ain't see what you did, tall boy, outside the gym. Huh, G? Yeah, a lot of them be missing what's going on. G, what you think about Frank Martin versus Hitchens? I think that's a great fight, too. Frank Martin got his hands full, though. He got to go get him. Brian Norman Jr. on the sidelines with Erickson Lubin, sad to say we might not hear from him anymore. I think he come back. I think he just need to get somebody down there that really know what they doing. You know what I mean? Hey, but listen, man, I'm Greg Hackett, and this is GHB TV. I appreciate the love and support. Appreciate all those who take time out of their day to tune in. Appreciate to the playback gang. You know what I mean? Appreciate those who drop donations. I appreciate those who just pulled up just to check it out. If you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit that alert button next to the subscribe button so that when we go live or when we post videos, you will be the first to know. If not the first to know, you will at least be within the top 10. Yo, man, this boy Cardo TV is a nutcase, man. Greg Hackett 86. That's my Instagram. Greg Hackett 86. Don't tell me you driving and trying to type and shit. I mean, I'm trying to get Cardo TV to set up this event, man, so we can come to Texas and get it popping out Texas. And we're going to have a crazy after party. Set up the after party, too. We're going to have a ball. We're going to turn it into, we're going to go down to Texas. We're going to turn it into a Greg Hackett weekend. And we just going to have a great time. You know what I mean? Greg Hackett weekend. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pull up 2026. I'm pulling up to Texas. Greg Hackett versus Cardo TV. Let's get it. He said, I'm cleaning chitlins right now. No, I ain't. My grandma cooking, bro. You know, we sliding up grandma's. My grandma's still sturdy. She put it all the way in the elbow like Vince Carter. Appreciate the love and support, man. Welcome to GHB TV. If you are new, thank you for pulling up. Appreciate you. Appreciate the likes, appreciate the comments, the shares, subscriptions, all the above. And if you would like to donate to the channel, the preferred method is GregieCash, GREGIE. Appreciate the love and support. Thank you.